On today's episode, my guest is Karan Nijhawan. He's the founder of JUBE, a client relationship consulting practice that helps businesses deepen those relationships with clients and prospects through human connection dinners. To date, JUBE has hosted over 184 dinners around the world with entrepreneurs and companies. Now, Karan has become known as the guy who brings people together in a meaningful and profound way. Karan is also the founder of the Solopreneur Success Club, a membership community that helps one-person business owners get to their next level. Karan, I'm so happy that you are a guest on the Business 360 podcast. Welcome.
So stoked to be here, man. I feel like was a long time coming, and I'm grateful that our relationship has flourished so much since meeting one another that I'm stoked to be here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we met on Clubhouse. The Clubhouse room that we used to do on a daily basis was called Solopreneurs Creating Impact. And you are a solopreneur who believes in creating impact. You have really taken the mantle of spearheading solopreneurship and diving into that specific terminology. So why call yourself a solopreneur versus the generalized distinction of entrepreneur? Like, why do you stick with that and then work only on solopreneurs?
And it's a great question. It's something I ask myself every single day. And I ask myself, is this the right way? So the term solopreneur to me simply just means a one-person business owner. Even if they have a team, it's typically one person who's the visionary. It's the one person who's kind of steering the boat. And yeah, sure, you might have a team, you might have a crew with you, you might have coaches and assistant coaches, but you're the one calling the shots. So even in my business, I am not a one-person business owner. I am the sole visionary of the company. I get to decide and steer where the boat is headed, but I've got a crew behind me as well. So to me, the term solopreneur, something about it feels very empowering to me. It feels like you get to call the shots. It feels like you get to create a life on your own terms. And for me, that term has really stuck with me and the audience that I've been able to create and the community. I've got nothing against the word entrepreneur. Like, it's one of my favorite words in the English dictionary, but the term solopreneur to me is just like, who's this lone wolf who's used to doing things alone? Maybe they're type A like me. Maybe they have a vision like me. Maybe they execute at the same speed as me, and likes attract likes, right? So like, when I find people who resonate with that term, they typically find their way into one of my programs or one of my services, or they just find their way into my community or my podcast. And yeah, it's just kind of like the solopreneur term to me is like the underdog. And for me, I'm a huge fan of the underdog.
So in your world, does solopreneur ever graduate to an entrepreneur?
I think a solopreneur is an entrepreneur. I feel like the term solopreneur to me is more of a mindset than it is in practicality. Practicality, like I would say in a way, Steve Jobs was a solopreneur. Mm-hmm. You know, he built one of the biggest companies in the world with thousands and thousands of employees all over the world, yet he was the guy with the vision, right? Elon Musk, he's got so many companies, so many successful exits, but nobody thinks like him. His brain is just on a next level. In a way, I would say Elon Musk is one of the greatest solopreneurs of all time. Jeff Bezos, Amazon has how many employees? But yet he's the guy with like the vision. So in a way, Jeff Bezos is the solopreneur. So for me, I think the term is more mindset and visionary focused and less practicality and what's on paper.
Got it. Yeah, not those technicalities. So let's do this, right? You started a company 4 years ago. That was your first foray.
Well, no. I started a side hustle 4 years ago.
Okay.
And the side hustle became, again, as a byproduct of these dinners. People came to this dinner and I would wake up the next day to email saying, when's the next one? And after doing this for 4 or 5 months, I said, hey, maybe I could create a membership model around this. So people paid $100 a month and they got to come to a dinner once a month that was covered for them. Their ticket was included in that $100. And I just started to build this community in St. John's, where I'm from, of business owners and entrepreneurs who just wanted to do networking differently.
Fair enough. No, so along that lines, there are thousands and thousands of people every day that are starting side hustles or legitimately intentionally trying to start a business. They're usually one person, right? And if we want to go in the technical terms of solopreneur, the one person business, what is usually the first mistake that most of these aspiring solopreneurs make when they're going down this journey?
I think they pick out kitchen's going to look like, the faucet that they want, the fridge that they want to order, the marble countertops, without really having a clear idea of where it is in the world they want to live. So I think that the problem they make is, instead of focusing on the foundations of the house, AKA their business, they focus on the sexy stuff, like the technology, the software that they need, the email service provider, the weekly emails, the funnel software. It's like they focus on that because it keeps them busy. And anytime an entrepreneur is busy, they think they're being productive. Now, busy and productive are two very different things. I know a lot of solopreneurs and entrepreneurs that are busy as hell, but they're not productive whatsoever, right? And they're just doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So I think the mistake that I often see a lot of first-time entrepreneurs or solopreneurs make is that they would rather focus on the sexy side of the business in terms of like outfitting their business versus really spending time on the business, asking two simple questions. Who's this for? And what can I provide them? So for me, it's like any solopreneur who's, has started a side hustle, I always say to them, like, how can you get your first 1 to 3 clients in the next 72 hours? Go. Make that your mission. You're going to learn so much in that process, and you don't need any tech for it. You just need it to be able to text message your friends, message a couple of people on LinkedIn who you think might be good fits, and like, let that be your validation. You'll learn so much more by 72 hours of just grinding to try to get your first client than any book or course or tech will ever teach you.